Hello, friends. Animals never cease to amaze us. Sometimes it seems that we don't really know anything about them. We don't think that they're all that smart and are only guided by their instincts. But is it really so? A gorilla named Coco lived at the Gorilla Foundation in Redwood City, California, and was one of the smartest great apes in the world. She was fluent in sign language, being able to sign over 1,000 words, and she also understood over 2,000 words in spoken English. Coco also loved babies very much, but unfortunately, she couldn't have any of her own. Noticing how lovingly the gorilla played with dolls, her guardians gave Coco her first cat back in 1984. When the pet died, the gorilla cried for many days and responded to all attempts at calming her down by signing that the cat fell asleep. Coco's size was impressive, and frankly, she looked quite scary. When she turned 44 years old, her friends decided not to ignore the occasion and give her a wonderful gift. Francine Patterson, Coco's trainer, noticed how often Coco repeated the word baby and decided that the best gift for her upcoming birthday would be a new fluffy pet. And so, when her birthday came, Coco was given a box of kittens and allowed to choose a pet for herself. She carefully examined the kittens one by one and chose 2 of them. Looking at the gorilla's hands and knowing how incredibly strong these animals are, one can't help but feel amazed by how carefully Coco handled the kittens. She gently took one of them in her hands and asked the guardians to put it on her head. The 2 kittens soon got used to their unusual mother and grew attached to her. Coco loved to pet them. She surrounded them with tenderness and care, playing with them and watched over their safety. She really was like a caring mother to them. The legendary Coco was born on July 4th, 1971 in San Francisco and spent most of her life in Woodside, California. She died in her sleep on the morning of June 19, 2018 in California. And our next story will take us to one of the African reserves, where a very funny incident took place recently. Ape Action Africa was established in Cameroon in 1996. It's a non-profit organization with the main mission of rescuing primates who have suffered at the hands of humans. Currently, there are about 300 primates living in the organization's reserve. Among them is a group of western lowland gorillas, led by a dominant male named Bobo. Bobo was one of the first to arrive at the reserve. He was rescued in 1996 when he was a 2-year-old toddler who lost his mother through the fault of a poacher. Bobo is now the leader of his group, which has 3 females and 3 males. Younger males Kibu and Nakamam have challenged Bobo for his position, but were never successful and no longer attempt to take control. No one could have even suspected that this macho could make friends with someone 5 times smaller than his palm. Even less so that he could be so gentle and affectionate with them. Perhaps it is due to the fact that Bobo spent little time in the wild, having lived most of his life at the reserve, but he isn't much like the typical leader of the group. He is gentle and has a kind heart. The staff even referred to him as the Gentle Giant. And the most recent incident justified this nickname once again. Every morning, the reserve caregivers conduct checks to ensure the well-being of all the animals. That day, the gorilla caregiver saw that Bobo was hiding something in his hand. A moment later, the man saw that Bobo was playing with a tiny bush baby. Bush babies are small animals from the order of primates. Their body length varies from 11 to almost 40 centimeters in adults, and they weigh from 50 to 1,500 grams. They are nocturnal animals, so they can rarely be found during the day, which makes this incident even more incredible. According to Eliza O'Sullivan of Ape Action Africa, the tiny primate had most likely climbed into the gorilla enclosure on its own. The bush baby showed no fear of Bobo, moving around his body and spending time hopping around in an open grassy area, before choosing to return to Bobo. Soon, the other gorillas also got interested in their leader's little pet. Bobo's groupmates were desperately curious, particularly his favorite female, Avishad. But he kept them all at a distance, making sure that no one disturbed his new friend. The little bush baby was happy to play in Bobo's arms, hopping off to explore the grass nearby before returning to Bobo's hand, said the post on the shelter's page. Bobo spent at least 2 hours playing with the tiny animal, after which he knew exactly where to take it. When the game was over, Bobo walked purposefully off on 2 legs to deliver his friend safely back into the trees, told the staff of the Mifou Sanctuary. And our next story took place in the United States. Baby Gladys was born at the Gladys Porter Zoo in Texas. Her mother was supposed to take care of her for at least 7 months. But for some reason, she rejected Gladys. The baby gorilla was then transferred from the Texas Zoo to the Cincinnati State Zoo to be raised temporarily by a team of human surrogate mothers. The staff took the baby gorilla under their care, nurturing her around the clock, which included 8 feedings per day. But even though the staff put on furry costumes, they still couldn't replace a real gorilla. They couldn't teach her all the necessary gorilla behavioral skills. So they decided to look for a gorilla foster mother for Gladys. The moment when Gladys met her new mother was very exciting, because no one knew how the baby and the adult gorilla would behave. By the time of their first encounter, the baby gorilla no longer needed to be nursed. It was more important for her to spend time under the guidance of an adult gorilla. A wall was put up in the enclosure with a hole through which the baby could fit. The staff watched if she would head for the mom-to-be or if she would get scared of her, and if the adult gorilla wouldn't show any aggression towards the baby. Everything went smoothly. The new mother accepted the baby gorilla as her own. Gladys will stay by her foster mother's side for the next 3 to 4 years, learning all the skills she needs from her. So that's how kind and caring these animals really are, even though they're so big and look so formidable. You've probably seen many times how these animals beat their chests in movies. So why do they do it? Scientists from Germany and the United States have found that male gorillas beat their chests because they want to stop a potential conflict, not provoke it. This is how they show their real size and fighting prowess to the opponent. Scientists spent over 3,000 hours observing gorillas in the Volcanoes National Park in Rwanda to study their behavior. The researchers analyzed recordings of the sound of the gorillas beating their chest. It turned out that larger gorillas produce sounds of lower frequencies. Since lower frequency sounds travel a greater distance, a large animal can be heard from afar. That's how smaller males understand when they should avoid conflict. The researchers also suggested that by beating their chests, gorillas could attract females. And that's all for today, friends. Share your thoughts about today's episode in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.